The shuttle doors hissed open, and Dr. Alex Morgan stepped into the cold metal halls of Research Station Omega. His breath formed small clouds in the chilly air as he pulled his travel bag behind him. The station orbited high above a blue and green planet that looked almost like Earth from this distance. Captain Lisa Grant followed close behind, her military boots clicking against the floor. She carried herself like someone who had seen many worlds and lived to tell about it. Her dark hair was pulled back tight, and her eyes moved constantly, always watching for danger. "Welcome to the middle of nowhere," said Commander Pete Williams as he met them at the airlock. He was a thin man with gray hair and tired eyes. "I hope you brought your own coffee because ours tastes like engine oil." Alex looked through the large window at the planet below. White clouds swirled over green continents and blue oceans. It looked peaceful and beautiful. "That's Kepler 442b down there." "That's the one," Pete said. "Also known as the worst death trap in this sector of the galaxy. Every alien species calls it a Class X death world. Nobody goes down there and comes back alive." Lisa frowned as she studied the planet. "It doesn't look dangerous from up here. Looks almost like Earth, actually. That's what makes it so strange." Pete replied, "The Galactic Council says it's full of impossible creatures and deadly environments. They've been warning everyone to stay away for over 200 years. Alex opened his tablet and pulled up the official files. He had read them many times during the long trip here, but they still confused him. The reports talked about reality-defying life forms and atmospheric anomalies that kill within minutes. The language was scientific, but the details made no sense. "Commander, have you seen any proof of these dangers?" Alex asked. Pete shook his head. "That's the thing. We've been in orbit for 6 months, and our scans show a perfectly normal world. Gravity is close to Earth normal, the air is breathable. Temperature ranges are mild. If I didn't know better, I'd say someone made a big mistake with the classification." Lisa walked to the window and pressed her hand against the cold glass. "What about the survey teams that died down there?" "That's another mystery," Pete said. "The records show 12 different alien expeditions over the past century. All of them reported equipment failures and lost contact. But here's the weird part. We've never found any wreckage. No crash sites, no distress beacons, nothing." Alex felt a chill that had nothing to do with the station's temperature. He had studied planetary classifications for 15 years, and something about this whole situation felt wrong. Dead worlds left evidence. Dangerous atmospheres showed up on scans. Deadly creatures appeared on biological surveys. This planet showed none of those signs. "I need to see all the data," Alex said. "Everything the Council has on file about this world." Pete led them deeper into the station, past humming computers and blinking lights. The research section was small but well-equipped. He sat down at a terminal and began typing. "Here's where it gets interesting. Most of the detailed files are classified above my clearance level. I can see the basic reports, but anything deeper requires Council Premark authorization." Lisa leaned over Pete's shoulder and watched the screen. As a military officer, she had dealt with classified information before, but this level of secrecy seemed extreme for a simple planetary survey. What kind of information needs that level of protection? Biological data, geological surveys, atmospheric, composition studies, basically everything that would tell us what's actually down there. Pete explained. Alex pulled up his own files on a nearby terminal. As Earth's lead xenogeologist, he had access to comparative planetary data from across human space. He began running analysis programs, comparing Kepler 442b to other known worlds. "This is impossible," he muttered after several minutes of work. "What did you find?" Lisa asked. Alex turned his screen so they could see the results. "Look at these atmospheric readings. The oxygen levels, nitrogen content, trace gases, they're almost identical to Earth's atmosphere. Not similar, nearly identical." Pete whistled softly. "That's a 1 in a billion chance." "More like 1 in a trillion, Alex corrected. "And look at this." He pulled up geological data. The planet's magnetic field strength, its rotation period, even its seasonal cycles, they all match Earth's parameters within a tiny margin of error. Lisa felt her military instincts starting to buzz with warning signals. That's not possible unless someone designed it that way, Alex finished. This world isn't naturally Earth-like. It's artificially Earth-like? The three of them stared at the data in silence. The implications were staggering. If someone had the technology to create Earth-like worlds, it would change everything humans thought they knew about the galaxy. A soft beeping sound interrupted their thoughts. Pete looked at his communication panel and frowned. That's odd. We're picking up a transmission from the planet's surface. Lisa straightened up. I thought you said nobody was down there. Nobody is supposed to be down there, Pete corrected. He adjusted the controls and static filled the air. Through the noise, they could hear faint sounds that might have been voices. Alex leaned closer to the speaker. Is that ... Is someone talking? The signal was weak and broken, but unmistakably artificial. Someone or something was alive on the surface of the supposedly deadly world. The transmission lasted only 30 seconds before fading back into static. We need to go down there, Lisa said quietly. Pete shook his head immediately. Absolutely not. Earth Command was very clear about our mission. Orbital observation only. No surface contact under any circumstances. But if there are survivors down there, ... quote, Alex began. Then they've been there for decades without asking for help, Pete interrupted. Our orders are to study the planet from orbit and report back, nothing more. Lisa walked back to the window and looked down at the world below. Her years of military training told her that something was very wrong with this entire situation. The classified files, the mysterious deaths, the impossible planetary parameters, and now proof of life on a supposedly dead world. Commander, she said slowly, what if the danger isn't from the planet itself? What do you mean? Lisa turned to face them, her expression serious. What if the danger is from someone who doesn't want us to know what's really down there? The question hung in the air like a challenge. Alex felt pieces of a puzzle starting to come together in his mind, but the picture they formed was disturbing. If Lisa was right, then they weren't just dealing with a misclassified world. They were dealing with a cover-up that stretched across the entire galactic community. Pete looked uncomfortable. I think we should stick to our orders and report what we found to Earth Command, but Alex was already making plans. As a scientist, he couldn't ignore evidence just because it was inconvenient. Lisa, how long would it take to prep a shuttle for surface reconnaissance? About 2 hours, she replied without hesitation. You can't be serious, Pete protested. It's too dangerous. Lisa smiled grimly. Commander, I've been to dozens of worlds that were supposed to kill me. I'm still here. Sometimes the biggest danger is not knowing what you're really up against. Alex nodded in agreement. They had traveled too far and discovered too much to turn back now. Whatever secrets were hidden on the surface of Kepler 442b, they were going to find them. The shuttle broke through the thick clouds, and Alex pressed his face against the small window. Below them stretched green forests and rolling hills that looked like something from Earth's countryside. Rivers wound through valleys like silver ribbons, and in the distance, mountains rose toward a blue sky. Instruments are going crazy again, Lisa called from the pilot's seat. Everything keeps changing readings every few seconds. Alex watched his scanner flip between different atmospheric readings. One moment it showed toxic air, the next it displayed perfectly breathable oxygen levels. The interference is getting stronger as we get closer to the surface. Lisa brought the shuttle down in a small clearing beside what looked like the ruins of an old building. The structure was made of some kind of dark metal that had turned green with age. Strange symbols covered the walls, but they were too worn to read clearly. Air quality is good, Alex reported as he checked his instruments one final time. Temperature is comfortable. Gravity feels normal. They put on their helmets anyway and stepped outside. The ground was covered with soft grass that felt real under their boots. Birds chirped in the nearby trees, and a gentle breeze carried the smell of flowers and growing things. This place doesn't feel dangerous at all, Lisa said through her helmet radio. It feels like a park. They walked toward the ruined building, keeping their weapons ready just in case. The structure was larger than it had looked from the air, with multiple levels and broken windows. Vines had grown up the walls, and small animals scurried away as they approached. Alex stopped suddenly. "Lisa, look at this!" He was pointing at a metal panel near what used to be a door. The symbols on it were clearer than the ones on the walls, and some of them looked familiar. "Those markings. I've seen them before in galactic databases," Alex said. "They're Centaurian script." Centaurians. "We're here?" Lisa asked. "But their homeworld is halfway across the galaxy." A voice spoke from behind them, making them both spin around with their weapons raised. "Please do not be afraid. We mean no harm." An alien figure stepped out from behind a large tree. It was tall and thin with blue-gray skin and large, dark eyes. Its clothes were old and patched, but clean. Alex recognized the species immediately. This was indeed a Centaurian, but one who looked much older than any he had met before. "I am Vex," the alien said in careful English. "I have been waiting a long time for someone to come." Lisa kept her weapon pointed at the ground, but ready. "How long have you been here?" 43 years, Vex replied sadly. "Since my survey ship was destroyed in orbit." Alex lowered his scanner. "You're one of the missing survey team members?" "I am the last of my team," Vex said. "The others died over the years? Old age, mostly?" "This world is not dangerous in the ways the Council claims." A second voice called out from inside the ruined building. "Vex, who are you talking to out there?" Younger alien emerged from a hidden entrance. This one was smaller with silver skin and 4 arms. Alex had never seen this species before, but the alien wore the remains of what looked like a spacesuit. "I am Zara," the 4-armed alien said. "I am from the Altair system. My ship crashed here 18 years ago." Lisa looked between the two. Aliens in amazement. "There are more of you?" "A few," Vex nodded. "We found each other over the years. All of us came here expecting to die on a terrible death world. Instead, we found a place that was safer than most of our homeworlds." Zara gestured for them to follow her into the building. "Come inside. We have much to show you." The interior of the structure had been converted into a living space. Old alien technology mixed with handmade furniture. Plants grew in containers. Near the windows and the walls were covered with charts and diagrams. "We have been studying this world for decades," Vex explained as they sat down on soft cushions. "What we discovered will shock you." Zara pulled out a thick notebook filled with drawings and measurements. "This planet is not just Earth-like by accident. Look at these readings." She showed them page after page of data. Atmospheric compositions. Gravity measurements, magnetic field strengths, seasonal patterns, all recorded by hand over many years. "Every measurement matches what we know about Earth," Zara continued. "Not close matches, exact matches." Alex felt his scientific training kicking in. That's impossible. 2 worlds can't evolve identical conditions naturally. "Exactly," Vex said. "But it gets stranger. Watch this." He led them to a window that looked out over the forest. "See those trees? They look like pine trees from Earth, correct?" Alex nodded. The trees did look remarkably like Earth pines. "But they are not pine trees," Vex continued. "They are something else entirely that happens to look exactly like pines. The leaves are different under a microscope. The bark has a different chemical structure. The seeds grow in a completely different way." Zara opened another notebook. "We found the same thing. With everything. The grass looks like earth grass, but isn't. The birds sound like earth birds, but have different bone structures. Even the rocks are made of familiar minerals arranged in unfamiliar ways. It's like someone took Earth's appearance and copied it, using completely different building blocks," Vex added. Lisa leaned forward. "You're saying this whole world is some kind of copy?" "More than a copy," Zara said excitedly. "It's like a prediction. Let me show you something that will really surprise you." She led them deeper into the building to a room filled with more alien equipment. In the center was a large machine that hummed softly. "We built this scanner from parts of our crashed ships," Zara explained. "It can look deep into the planet's geological layers." She activated the machine and a three-dimensional image appeared in the air above it. It showed the planet's internal structure with different layers marked in different colors. "Look at the continental drift patterns," Zara pointed to moving sections of the image. "They match Earth's continental movements exactly, but they're millions of years ahead of where Earth is now." Alex stared at the display in shock. "You're saying this world shows what Earth will look like in the future?" "Not just the surface," Vex said. "The magnetic field changes, the atmospheric evolution, even the way the moon affects the tides. Everything follows Earth's expected development, but advanced by millions of years." Lisa felt pieces of a larger puzzle starting to form in her mind. "Someone built this place to study Earth's future." "That's what we think too," Zara agreed. "But here's the most disturbing part. Whoever built this place knew about Earth long before humans developed space travel." Vex pulled out an older notebook, its pages yellow with age. "We found evidence that this planet has been running its Earth simulation for over 50,000 years. The technology buried deep underground is older than any galactic civilization we know about." "Ancient aliens were studying Earth before humans even knew aliens existed," Alex said quietly. "Yes," Zara nodded. "And the Galactic Council has known about it for centuries. They've been covering it up by calling this place a death world." Lisa stood up and walked to the window. Outside, the peaceful Earth-like landscape stretched to the horizon. Birds sang in trees that looked like home but weren't. Grass waved in breezes that felt familiar but came from an alien sky. "Why would they cover this up?" she asked. Vex and Zara exchanged a long look before Vex answered. "Because whoever built this place left behind the technology they used." Technology. That could change any world to look like any other world. Technology that could make dead planets into garden worlds in just a few years. Or turn garden worlds into dead ones, Zara added quietly. Alex felt a chill run down his spine. They weren't just looking at evidence of ancient aliens studying Earth. They were looking at a weapon that could reshape entire worlds, hidden away and protected by lies about deadly creatures and impossible dangers. "We need to tell someone about this," Lisa said. "We've been trying for decades," Vex replied sadly. "But who would believe survivors from a death world that no one is supposed to visit?" Zara smiled for the first time since they had met her. "But now you're here. Official representatives from Earth with diplomatic immunity. People will have to listen to you." Lisa looked at Alex and he nodded slowly. They had come here expecting to study a dangerous world. Instead, they had found evidence of a conspiracy that stretched back thousands of years and threatened the balance of power in the entire galaxy. The question was, what were they going to do about it? 3 days later, Alex stood knee-deep in mud at the bottom of a deep pit they had been digging behind the ruined building. His clothes were dirty and his hands were sore, but his eyes shone with excitement as he carefully brushed dirt away from a metal surface. "This is it," he called up to the others. "This is definitely artificial." Lisa lowered a rope down to him. "What does it look like?" "Like a machine," Alex replied as he tied the rope around a strange metal object. "But not like any machine I've ever seen before." Together, they pulled the device up to the surface. It was about the size of a small refrigerator, made of a dark metal that seemed to shimmer in the sunlight. Strange symbols covered its surface, and thin lines of blue light pulsed slowly across its sides. Vex examined the symbols closely. "These markings are not from any language in our current galactic database. They're much older than anything we know about." Zara ran her scanner over the device. "The energy readings are incredible. This thing is still active after thousands of years." "Active how?" Lisa asked, keeping her distance from the alien machine. "It's connected to something much larger underground," Zara explained. "The energy signals go down for miles. I think this is just a small part of a much bigger system." Alex wiped sweat from his forehead. "We need to find the main facility. If this little piece is still working, imagine what the whole system could do." Over the next 2 days, they followed the energy signals deeper into the forest. The readings led them to a hill that looked perfectly normal from the outside, but Zara's scanner showed hollow spaces underneath. "There's definitely something big down there," she said, pointing at her readings. "Multiple chambers, all connected by tunnels." They found the entrance hidden behind a wall of vines and fallen rocks. It looked like it had been sealed deliberately, but time and weather had loosened the barriers enough for them to squeeze through. Inside, their flashlights revealed a corridor made of the same dark metal as the device they had found. The walls were covered with more symbols, and the floor was perfectly smooth despite being thousands of years old. "The air is fresh," Alex noted, removing his helmet after checking his scanner. "The ventilation system is still working." They walked deeper into the facility, their footsteps echoing in the darkness. Side passages branched off in all directions, but they followed the main corridor toward the strongest energy readings. The passage opened into a huge chamber that took their breath away. The ceiling stretched up into darkness, and the walls were lined with machines that hummed softly with power. In the center of the room stood a massive device that looked like a cross between a computer and a telescope. "What is this place?" "Lisa," whispered. Vex approached one of the wall machines carefully. "I think this is a control center. Look at these displays." Screens built into the machines showed three-dimensional images of planets, star systems, and what looked like biological charts. The images moved and changed as if showing the passage of time in fast forward. Zara found a control panel that responded to her touch. Suddenly, the entire chamber filled with light, and the images on the screens became clearer and more detailed. "Look at this," Alex called from across the room. He was standing in front of a screen that showed a familiar blue and green planet. "That's Earth." But as they watched, the image of Earth began to change. Continents shifted, ice caps grew and shrank, and the atmosphere changed color slightly. It was like watching millions of years of Earth's future compressed into minutes. "The machine is showing Earth's evolution over time," Alex said in amazement. "But look at the timeline." Numbers appeared at the bottom of the screen, showing dates millions of years in the future. The changes they were watching hadn't happened yet on the real Earth. Lisa pointed to another screen. "And that's this planet, isn't it?" The second screen showed the world they were standing on, but it was changing too. As Earth evolved on the first screen, this planet changed to match it. Every shift in Earth's continents was copied here. Every atmospheric change was duplicated. "It's a mirror," Vex said quietly. "This whole planet is designed to copy Earth's evolution, but faster." Zara found more controls and additional screens came to life. They showed other planets, all evolving in fast forward. Some looked like copies of worlds in the Galactic database. Others showed planets they had never seen before. 12 worlds, Zara counted. 12 different planets all being evolved artificially. Alex studied the control systems more carefully. The technology was incredibly advanced, but the basic principles were becoming clear to him. This isn't just observation. This is experimentation. Someone was using these planets to test what would happen to different worlds over millions of years. But why? Lisa asked. The answer came from an unexpected source. The central machine suddenly projected a three-dimensional image into the air above them. It showed a figure that looked almost human, but taller and thinner. With large eyes and pale skin, the figure began to speak in a language none of them recognized, but subtitles appeared in the air in perfect English. "If you are reading this message, it means our experiment has been discovered by a species capable of understanding our work," the figure said. "We are the predecessors. We evolved on a world much like yours many millions of years ago." The image showed more figures like the first one, working with advanced technology in cities that floated in the clouds. "We learned to control our own evolution, to change ourselves as we grew and learned. But we wondered what would happen to other worlds if they were given the same time to develop that we had taken." The display showed the 12 laboratory planets being set up. each one connected to a different real world by streams of energy. We chose 12 promising worlds to study. Your Earth was one of them. We wanted to see what these worlds might become if they had millions of extra years to evolve naturally. Alex felt his legs go weak. They've been watching Earth for millions of years. We did not interfere with your natural development, the message continued. We only observed and recorded, but we left these laboratories as a gift for the younger species who would eventually find them. The image showed the predecessors working on the same machines that surrounded Alex and his friends. The knowledge contained in these facilities can be used to help worlds develop faster, to heal damaged planets, or to create new worlds suitable for life. But we discovered something important during our experiments. The display showed planets being changed rapidly, some becoming garden worlds, but others turning into dead rocks. This technology is incredibly powerful, but it is also incredibly dangerous. In the wrong hands, it can destroy worlds instead of helping them. We learned this lesson too late. The final image showed the predecessor homeworld becoming empty and lifeless. We evolved beyond the need for physical bodies, but in doing so, we lost our connection to the worlds we had tried to help. We became observers only, unable to act or interfere. The message began to fade. We leave this choice to you. Use this knowledge wisely or hide it away if your species is not ready. The power to reshape worlds should only belong to those who truly understand the responsibility that comes with it. The chamber fell silent as the message ended. The four friends stood in the darkness, trying to process what they had just learned. The Galactic Council has known about this for centuries, Vex said finally. They've been hiding technology that could solve resource problems, heal damaged worlds, and expand life throughout the galaxy. But they've also been hiding technology that could be used as the ultimate weapon, Lisa added. A planet killer that works by changing evolution itself. Zara checked her scanner readings. The main control systems are still active. We could access the complete database of everything the predecessors learned. Alex looked around at the ancient machines, still humming with power after millions of years. The question is, what do we do with this knowledge? The Council has been keeping it secret because they're afraid of what might happen if everyone knew, Vex said. Or because they want to control it themselves, Lisa suggested, the weight of the decision pressed down on all of them. They had discovered the secret that the Galactic Council had been hiding for centuries, technology that could change the course of evolution itself, left behind by a species that had transcended physical existence. Now they had to decide whether the galaxy was ready for this knowledge, or whether some secrets were too dangerous to share. Alex spent the next morning working with the predecessor machines, trying to understand their full capabilities. The ancient computers responded to his touch, showing him file after file of information about the 12 laboratory worlds. This is incredible, he said, his voice echoing in the chamber. Look at what they accomplished. The screens around him showed worlds being transformed from dead rocks into living planets in just a few decades, poisoned atmospheres being cleaned, extinct species being brought back to life, entire ecosystems being designed and created from scratch. They could fix climate change on any world in 10 years, Alex continued. They could make dead planets into homes for billions of people. Zara worked at another station, accessing different files. But look at this section. They also show how to reverse the process. How to kill all life on a planet and make it uninhabitable. Lisa studied the weapon applications with growing concern. A government could threaten to destroy enemy worlds without ever firing a shot. Just turn on the machine and wait for the planet to die. Vex had been quiet for most of the morning, but now he called them over to his station. I've found something you all need to see. These are recent files, not ancient ones. The screen showed current galactic maps with symbols marking different star systems. 12 systems were highlighted in red, including their current location. The Galactic Council has been here before, Vex said quietly. These files show Council survey teams visiting this facility multiple times over the past 300 years. Alex felt his blood run cold. they've been using this technology in secret. More files appeared on the screen, showing detailed records of Council activities. Images of Council ships in orbit around laboratory worlds. Pictures of Council scientists working with predecessor machines. Here, Zara pointed to a series of documents. Terraforming projects that the Council claimed were impossible. Look at the dates and locations. Lisa recognized several of the star systems listed. Those are all Council member worlds that were terraformed over the past century. The Council said it took them hundreds of years to develop that technology. But they didn't develop it, Vex said. They stole it from these facilities and claimed credit for the discoveries. The files revealed the full scope of the conspiracy. The Galactic Council had been secretly accessing predecessor technology for centuries, using it to terraform worlds for their own benefit while telling other species that such rapid terraforming was impossible. Look at this, Alex said, pulling up another set of files. Earth's first contact with galactic civilization. The documents showed Council meetings from 50 years ago, when Earth had first developed faster-than-light travel. The Council leaders discussed how to handle the new human species. They knew Earth was special because of the predecessor connection, Lisa read from the translated text. They wanted to bring humans into galactic society, but keep them ignorant of the laboratory worlds. We were never supposed to be equal partners, Alex realized. We were supposed to be useful servants who didn't know what we were missing. Zara found even more disturbing information. The Council has been classifying worlds as death worlds to hide 12 other predecessor facilities. Any species that gets too close to the truth has their survey teams disappear mysteriously. Like us, Vex said bitterly. Our ships weren't destroyed by planetary dangers. They were sabotaged by Council agents to make sure we couldn't report what we found. Lisa felt anger building in her chest. How many people have died to protect this secret? The files showed hundreds of missing survey teams over the past 2 centuries. Ships that vanished near death worlds. Scientists who disappeared after asking too many questions. Entire research expeditions that were never heard from again. The Council has been murdering people for centuries to keep this technology secret, Alex said, but the conspiracy went even deeper than they had imagined. Vex accessed files showing that the Council's most powerful leaders had been using predecessor technology to extend their own lives. Some Council members who should have died of old age decades ago were still alive and ruling their species. They're not just hiding the technology, Vex said, they're using it to stay in power forever. Zara discovered that the Council had been secretly evolving their own species using predecessor knowledge, making themselves smarter, stronger, and longer-lived while keeping other species ignorant of the possibilities. This explains why the Council races are so much more advanced than everyone else, she said. They've been cheating for centuries. Alex found the final piece of the puzzle in a section labeled Future Projects. The Council wasn't just using predecessor technology for their own benefit. They were planning to use it to control the entire galaxy. They want to create a galaxy-wide empire, he said, reading through the documents. They plan to terraform hundreds of worlds and populate them with species that have been modified to be obedient to Council rule. A galaxy of slaves, Lisa said. Quietly, the files showed timelines stretching hundreds of years into the future. The Council planned to gradually replace natural evolution with artificial control, creating species designed to serve their purposes. They're going to turn the whole galaxy into their personal laboratory, Vex said, but as they read deeper into the files, they found something that gave them hope. The predecessor machines had built-in safeguards to prevent exactly this kind of abuse. Look at this, Zara said excitedly. The original programmers included protection protocols. If the technology is being used for conquest instead of cooperation, the machines can be activated to broadcast all their knowledge freely. Alex studied the broadcasting system. It was elegant in its simplicity. Instead of keeping the technology secret, the predecessors had designed a way to share it with everyone at once. If we activate this system, Every species in the galaxy will receive complete technical information about predecessor technology, he explained. No one group could control it because everyone would have equal access. The Council's power would disappear overnight, Lisa realized. Vex looked concerned. But would that be better? What if some species use the technology to destroy worlds instead of helping them? The predecessors thought about that too, Zara said, reading from another file. They believed that if everyone had equal access to the technology, no one would dare use it aggressively because everyone else could retaliate. Alex nodded slowly. Like nuclear weapons on Earth? Too dangerous to use because everyone has them? They spent the rest of the day studying the broadcasting system and the safeguards built into it. The technology was designed to be shared, not hoarded. The predecessors had learned from their own mistakes and built their final gift to prevent any one group from becoming too powerful. We have a choice to make, Lisa said as evening fell. We can try to report this to Earth Command and hope they handle it properly, or we can activate the broadcast system and share the knowledge with everyone. If we report it through normal channels, the Council will find ways to suppress the information, Vex warned. They've been doing it for centuries. But if we broadcast it to everyone, we change the balance of power in the galaxy forever, Alex added. There's no going back from that decision. Zara looked around at the ancient machines, still humming with power after millions of years. The predecessors left this choice for us to make. They trusted that whoever found this place would be wise enough to use it correctly. The question is, Lisa said quietly, are we wise enough? Outside the facility, night was falling over the Earth-like world that had been their prison and their salvation. In a few hours, they would have to decide the fate of galactic civilization. The choice was theirs. Maintain the status quo and allow the Council to continue their secret empire, or risk everything by giving everyone equal access to technology. That could reshape the galaxy. Alex looked at his friends, human and alien alike, who had become partners in the greatest discovery in galactic history. Whatever they decided, they would face the consequences together. The machines waited patiently for their decision, just as they had waited for millions of years. Alex stood in front of the main control panel, his hand hovering over the activation switch. The ancient machine hummed quietly, waiting for his decision. Around him, his three friends watched in tense silence. Once I press this button, everything changes, he said quietly. The entire galaxy will know about predecessor technology within hours. Lisa checked her watch. Earth Command expects our report in 6 hours. If we're going to do this, it has to be now. Vex had been studying the broadcast system one last time. The signal will reach every inhabited system simultaneously. Every government, every scientist, every ordinary citizen will receive the complete technical database. And every potential dictator and war criminal, Zara added with concern. This technology could create paradise or hell depending on who uses it. Alex closed his eyes and thought about everything they had learned. The Council's centuries of lies and murder. The technology that could solve hunger, disease, and environmental destruction across the galaxy. The power to create new worlds or destroy existing ones? The predecessors faced this same choice millions of years ago, he said finally. They chose to evolve beyond physical existence rather than risk their technology being misused. But they also left it here for us to find, Lisa pointed out. They must have believed someone would eventually be wise enough to use it properly. Alex opened his eyes and looked at each of his friends. Vex, who had survived 40 years on a supposedly deadly world. Zara, who had spent decades studying and protecting dangerous knowledge. Lisa, who had risked her career to uncover the truth. We've already proven we can work together despite being different species, he said. Maybe that's the key. Maybe the technology is only dangerous when one group tries to control it alone. He pressed the activation switch, the ancient machines around them came fully to life for the first time in millions of years. Lights blazed across every surface, and the air filled with a deep, harmonic tone that seemed to vibrate through their bones. Above the central console, a three-dimensional map of the galaxy appeared. Thousands of star systems lit up as the broadcast Signal reached them. The wave of information spread outward at faster than light speed, carrying complete predecessor knowledge to every corner of galactic civilization. "It's done," Alex said simply, for the next few hours. They monitored the galactic communication networks through the facility's receivers. At first, everything seemed normal. Ships continued their regular routes, planets maintained their normal broadcasts, and governments carried on their usual business. Then, one by one, the normal communications began to stop. "The Centauran government just went silent," Vex reported, listening to his homeworld's frequency. "No official broadcasts for the past hour." Zara's scanner showed similar patterns across multiple systems. "The Altarian Council stopped all public communications 30 minutes ago." "So did the Vegan Assembly and the Tau Ceti Federation?" Lisa monitored the human networks. Earth Command just recalled all ships to home system. Emergency protocols are in effect. The galaxy was going quiet as every civilization tried to process the implications of what they had just received. Governments retreated behind closed doors to study the technology and plan their responses. "Look at this," Alex said, pointing to the galactic map. "The Council homeworlds have completely cut off all external communications. The most powerful systems in the galaxy had gone dark, their signals blocked by what looked like military-grade communication shields. Days passed in eerie silence. The normal chatter of interstellar commerce, diplomacy, and cultural exchange simply stopped. It was as if the entire galaxy was holding its breath. "Maybe we made a mistake," Zara said on the third day. "What if this destroys galactic civilization instead of improving it?" But Vex had been monitoring deeper frequencies, the emergency channels, used by researchers and ordinary citizens. "Listen to this," he said. Patching through a weak signal, the voice spoke in accented English. "This is Dr. Martinez at Luna Research Station. We've successfully tested the atmospheric processors from the predecessor files. We can clean Earth's pollution in 18 months instead of centuries." Another signal came through from a different system. "Vegan Agricultural Council to all farming worlds. The soil restoration techniques work perfectly. We can heal damaged farmland in weeks." More voices joined the chorus. Scientists sharing discoveries, farmers reporting successful tests, doctors announcing new treatments for genetic diseases. While governments stayed silent, ordinary people were already using predecessor knowledge to solve problems. "The technology is spreading faster than any government can control it," Lisa realized. "By the time they figure out how to regulate it, everyone will already have it." On the fifth day, something unexpected happened. A new type of signal began broadcasting across the galaxy. Instead of individual governments making announcements, groups of scientists from different species were working together on joint projects. Human and Centauran researchers just announced a partnership to terraform dead worlds, Vex reported with excitement. They're sharing data freely and inviting other species to join them. Similar collaborations were forming everywhere. Altarian engineers working with vegan biologists, human doctors partnering with council healers. Species that had barely spoken to each other before were now combining their knowledge with predecessor technology. "This is what the predecessors hoped would happen," Alex said, watching the cooperation bloom across the galaxy. They knew the technology was too powerful for any one group to control safely. The Galactic Council's silence continued. But it no longer mattered. Their power had been based on controlling access to advanced technology. Now that everyone had equal access, their authority was meaningless. On the seventh day, Earth Command finally broke their silence with a single message directed at Alex and Lisa. "Come home. Everything is changing." As they prepared to leave the predecessor facility, Vex and Zara decided to stay behind to continue studying the ancient knowledge and help other species who might find their way to the laboratory world. "This place should be a center of learning for everyone," Vex said. "A place where all species can come to understand predecessor technology safely. And someone needs to make sure it's never used as a weapon," Zara added. Alex and Lisa said goodbye to their friends and climbed aboard their shuttle. As they lifted off from the world that had changed everything, Alex looked down at the green forests and peaceful valleys. Do you think we did the right thing? He asked. Lisa smiled as she piloted them toward orbit. Look at your scanner readings. Alex checked his instruments and saw something amazing. The electromagnetic interference that had plagued the planet for decades was gone. The ancient machines had stopped their defensive jamming because they no longer needed to hide. The planet is opening itself to visitors, Lisa continued. The predecessors built their safeguards well. The technology protects itself until it finds people worthy of sharing it. As they reached orbit, their communication system came alive with messages from across the galaxy. Scientists requesting cooperation, governments announcing new peaceful policies, and ordinary citizens expressing hope for the future. The galaxy was no longer silent. It was singing with the voices of species working together toward common goals. Alex looked out at the stars and smiled. Humanity had found its place in galactic civilization not as servants or conquerors, but as partners in building a better future for everyone. The Galactic Council's age of secrets and control was over. The age of cooperation and shared knowledge had begun, and somewhere in the vast cosmos, the evolved consciousness of the predecessors watched approvingly as their final gift brought the galaxy together in ways they had only dreamed possible millions of years ago. The silence had ended, and the real conversation was just beginning.